Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1555. 1555. 1555. I'm probably going to call this show 5, I'm thinking. My name is Mike Matthews, broadcasting from Café Anyway, located somewhere in Podcaster Valley, My voice sounds different today. What is happening? Today, we're going to hear from Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley, and I am going to sing a song.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Right now. It's, oh baby, I love you so.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
That was a song that INXS used to sing in concert all the time, and they even sang it just before Michael Hutchinson died, and it was a song about something with women and men and falling in love, and I think it was like a heterosexual song. It could have been a homosexual song. I don't know. I didn't really listen to it.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Oh, Zooey Deschanel sings on Ellen, and it sounds something like this.
Mike's
I'm a cute girl
Daily
with big eyes,
Podcast.
and I sing with the ukulele.
Yeah.
I'm not annoying at all. So freaking done with Zooey Deschanel and New Girl and Netflix, and I'm a bitter old man. The only thing I like is Lucy Worsley, and I dedicated my last podcast to her because she's beautiful and blonde and smart, and she talks with such intensity at the camera, blinking and making all kinds of cute British women faces. Hey, that wasn't internationalist, racist, or anything, was it? Look who walked in. Hello, Michael Master, it's Madame Rootabega, and I love being on this show. In fact, all my friends are coming in to the cafe right now.
We are the knights who say...
Oh, hi, Knights. Look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parenting attendant.
And it's Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we are very happy about the fact that Trump wants to put on a big parade.
Yeah, parade. Do you know that? You guys love a parade? Yeah. Okay. So the whole thing where they're, Trump is looking out over all the... Here's the thing.
And here's today's podcast picture.
I'm okay with the parade, but if Trump is elevated in any way at this parade, and if he's wearing like a crazy militaristic suit, and let's say he's grown a mustache, and let's say the sun's getting in his eyes and he's trying to extend his hand out to block the sun, and as the soldiers are walking by, they turn to him and they also raise their hand up to block the sun, I think that could be a little problematic. Look who else. Oh, wait. Everybody walked in and we're all here. Good. The podcast picture today is, and if anybody didn't get that joke, I must not have explained it too much. I must not have spent, and I already spent 2 minutes on it. I might as well spend some more. No? Maybe this will help. Old vaudeville drum guy with laughter. The podcast picture today, I think I picked it yesterday, and I'm going to look for it now. But meanwhile, I will tell you I went and saw a movie last night. I never go see movies. And last night I saw one because my friend Joe said, "You need to see this movie. It's called Two-Lane Blacktop." I'm like, "What are you saying, Joe? What is this movie you are speaking of?" He goes, "Oh, it's the best movie ever. It's with Dennis Wilson and James Taylor." And I said, "Hold the phone. Drop the pen. Pick up the paper. Pick up the paper and the trash." Oh, I thought for sure I put that. Oh, what happened now? I'm sure I put that somewhere, and I'm really mad at stupid Google Photos, because I know I marked that somewhere. Oh, well. The podcast picture is of, I think, a sunset from a couple days ago at Fairmount Ridge, because it was so nice, so pretty. Yeah. I think we'll go with this sunset. Okay. Yeah, so I didn't know what... James Taylor and Dennis Wilson of the Beach Boys, who sadly died in some kind of boating accident, and he was... not Natalie Wood, that was someone else who died in a boating accident. Strangely. Only that happened in the 80s. I think Dennis died in the 70s. I don't have time to check Wikipedia on the facts. These are just various facts tucked away in my brain somewhere. But yeah, so James Taylor and Dennis Wilson are the quintessential 70s jeans wearing, super skinny, lanky, long hair, perfectly combed back to, the whatever they called it when they parted it in the middle and it feathered out to the sides, that look. And they're driving cars and they're racing cars and they're souped up cars. They've got an old 1955 car that they've made all super fast. And they race this guy in a newer GTO that's only about a year old. And they're racing cross country. And the cool thing about this movie was they were driving through a lot of area that I have been. I drove on Highway 40 from wherever it starts in like the desert in Los Angeles, California or somewhere, and it takes you all the way. I think I forget where it ends up, but we took it, my then wife and I took it to Memphis, and then we branched down. We headed sort of in a southeasterly direction towards Alabama. Now, because we drove from California to Alabama when we moved to Alabama. I want to say Calabama, just for the fun of it. Say it with me, Calabama. And that felt good, didn't it? So we drove that whole route east to Alabama, and that was, well, we saw a lot of the scenery that is in the movie Two-Lane Blacktop, which has basically no dialogue. It is so sparse and artistic-y. And there's a girl in there who's entirely too young that gets a ride with them. And there's a couple of... What? This is the whole movie, huh? Let's see. Oh, doesn't have the full... They lied! That's one of those things on YouTube where it says it's the full movie, and they've got like 53 minutes, but there's nothing in it. They've removed the whole... Wow. Isn't YouTube suck? But I love it so. Well, here's the trailer anyway.
Are you trying to blow my mind?
And can't really hear it. There were just a lot of dialogue like that, like 5 or 6 words. People would say things like, "This car can run fast. Hey, I've got stuff in my trunk that'll make you go up, down, or sideways." Yeah. Okay, don't go see this movie. But I was forced to watch it last night because Joe is into cars, and Joe said, "You got to see this movie," and so I watched this movie with Joe. And it was fun in the sense that it's 1971, and you see these guys that would... Well, James Taylor would later become this huge recording artist. I've got fire and I've got rain. Hey, you say James Taylor, and most people 45 and above know what the hell you're talking about. Was married to Carly Simon for a while. He's pretty iconic, and so to see him so young and acting, he's good at being intense, like just being angry. But when they give him more than 3 sentences to memorize and then say in front of the camera, he just blows it big time. I can't find that clip on YouTube because YouTube sucks. YouTube is only good for showing me great... Oh, wait, what's this? Oh. Yeah, there's a lot of that. A lot of cars racing super fast. Okay. Oh, and nobody has any character names. They just have... oh, wait, there's a James Taylor interview. Here's James Taylor in It says 1978, but
The song happened in New York City. There were a lot of groups around.
Okay. He's high. He's all hopped up on the drugs and whatnot. This may have been from 1978. And okay. Hey, here's an interesting thing that you may not have known, is that the IRS will never call you. Ever. The IRS will never, ever, ever call you. If you get in any trouble with IRS, or if the IRS wants to give you more money, give money back, maybe you overpaid, and here's the thing, they will send you a letter, a legal letter, snail mail. It will come to your address. That is the way they contact you. Don't ever, no, somebody called me. Nope. That's a scam. It's always a scam. So, and Michael Hutchence, always loved that song. Oh, baby, I love you so. Okay, yesterday I had a reward at Starbucks because I have, they do these promotions. They'll send me an email going, hey, we got this thing now where if you buy 3 coffees in the next 5 days, we'll give you 150 points. Well, if you get 150 points, all of a sudden, bing, you've got a free coffee, a free drink, a rewards drink, which can be anything that you want. Anything. Hey, I'm going to post this picture of these poppies. How about that? Poppies. Because I saw a bunch of poppies growing on the side of the road yesterday. And this picture actually is from 5 years ago. So it's a little, and you see the Bay Area behind you. This was actually at Point Pinole, which I posted a picture from last week. And that's in the background is San Pablo Bay, and I think way in the background there is San Rafael. Play along by going to mikesdailypodcast.com, and you can see the podcast picture and all the past podcast pictures, and help out the show through the Amazon link. Somebody told me, oh, and we also have a PayPal link if you'd like to donate. Somebody said, you got to put that donate button, you got to hide that. Don't put it right on your front page. Don't do that. Shut up. I swear, people giving me feedback, I'm getting sick of it about my website. If you don't like the way my website looks, don't look at it. The end. Good God. People are like, oh, you got this wrong and that wrong. I like the way it looks. Every time somebody says, hey, you should go change, you should do this and this and this, I go, and then I look and I go into changing it because I'm also the webmaster of my webpage, and I'm like, nope, I like the way it looks, shut up. So the Starbucks reward, I could have whatever I want. And in the past, I would go into the Starbucks and I would see the beautiful, cute barista who's much too young for me, and that's just how life is now. And she would be looking at me and going, oh, who's this old jackass? And I'd say, hey, I got a free coffee, a free reward. Okay, what do you want? And, be all impatient and mean, and I would say, well, I'll just have a large Java chip. We don't have larges, we have ventis. All right, I'll have the venti. And so I would get that, and she'd be like, all right, you have a free one, beep, beep, beep. Okay, you're done. Go get it. We'll have it for you shortly. Wait behind all those other people. Wait behind that guy, who also I hate because he's old. He's 45. He's old. So I'm waiting. I said, forget all that. And somehow I had downloaded the Starbucks app to my phone. It did it really sneakily, which scares me in some ways. But the Starbucks app, I'm like, okay, I punch up what I want, and then they give you all these options. And I'm like, I wonder how much I can add and still get this for free. So I get the venti, I get this Java chip, I add all the toppings. They've got like 20 different toppings. So I add them all. And then it asks, would you like to add a banana? I'm like, sure. And yeah, now I've just lost half of you. And then, so now I've got this big frozen coffee banana-y, ice creamy smoothie drink. What the hell? The price tag on it would have been over $7. And I said, okay. And it let me pay with my reward. So, frick, I did it. And then I went over to pick it up. And I'm like, I'm going to get judged. I know when I walk in at Starbucks, it's going to be judgment time. People are going to say, oh, look at this donkey ass who is getting his coffee that was massively ordered with too many things in it. And I go in, and there it is, just sitting on the side, and I take it, and I'm Mike. And they're like, okay. And they didn't pass judgment. It was great. I enjoyed it. When you get those emails that most times go straight to your spam, because even your email provider, Gmail, Hotmail, some people still have Hotmail, Outlook.com, some people use that, Yahoo.com, those are the ones that like to get hacked and have all their information stolen. What's the other one? The Earthlink, Comcast.net, whatever email you have. Maybe through your company you have an email. Remember well, do you remember when those phishing emails or when those crappy emails that went straight to your spam used to say, they always had the most improper grammar, and they wouldn't capitalize the correct words, they'd spell things wrong, and now they're getting better at it. Now they're actually proofreading what they're typing. So it just leads me to believe that hackers failed English. Is that true? They all failed English and went into the hacking world. But a good rule of thumb, just never click on any link that you see in your email, especially if the email is suspect. But it's good to just be vigilant about that. I'm just giving you all this helpful advice today. You're welcome. The memo that the Republican Trumpers dismiss... Oh, with the whole memo thing, which we've gone past that story now. That story is off in the distance, and now we're all talking about the parade situation, that Trump wants to have a military parade. But the whole thing is based on this Steele dossier, and if you believe that is completely false, is completely made up, then the rest of it, then you focus on all the conspiracy about, who funded this, who funded Steele, who gave Steele the money to do the investigation and all that. And my point being, I still kind of think the Steele dossier thing is true. I think some of it is very true. And at least we should interview this guy Steele. And why isn't he like hardly showed up anywhere on any of the news I was looking at or listening to. The Steele guy, who is he, and where did he get all the... When that guy that wrote the book, Fire and Fury, when that book came out, of course he was promoting the book, but he was all over the news, and he would dodge a lot of questions. But anyway, I just find it interesting that the Steele guy, this British former MI5 dude, where is he? I want answers. And, maybe I'm giving him too much of the benefit of the doubt, but... Oh, and also wiggle. Wiggle when you brush your teeth, wiggle. Wiggle, not your body, but the brush. This is something I learned from my dentist the other day. Wiggle, wiggle. Just remember those words. Wiggle, wiggle. I know, it's kind of enticing, but just do that when you're brushing your teeth. Wiggle the brush and make sure you're wiggling it. She said that the dentist said people don't wiggle. They scrape and back and forth. No, you need to wiggle. Okay, that's all I had with that. Diane Neal, she's going to run for Congress. She's the 41-year-old from Law and Order SVU. She's going to run for Congress in New York. Starman is leaving orbit. That would be SpaceX's the amazing rocket they launched that had the car on top of it. Holy crap, that was just so amazing. The last image of the Tesla car is heading into deep space now with the mannequin named Starman in it, the Tesla Roadster. It's that's just phenomenal. I don't know. I'm excited about Elon Musk. That good-looking young chap helping us finally go. You had the British dude, the Virgin Records guy, whose name never pops into my head, even though it's probably popped into yours already, with the gray hair and the ridiculous goatee. And he always had these great ideas and stuff, but he never captured our imagination like Elon Musk has. Pope Benedict says that he's on a pilgrimage towards home in a rare public letter published in an Italian newspaper. He is nearing death at the age of 90 in the slow decline of my physical strength, he said. He was the one that resigned as Pope, and that's when Francis took over. There is a story here about the melting Arctic permafrost could release tons of toxic mercury. That's a massive natural reserve of mercury, a toxic heavy metal. And that is an issue that maybe you didn't hear about today that I thought I'd worry you with a little bit. Worry you with just a tad. Bermuda becomes the first country to legalize gay marriage and then repeal it. That thanks to their governor, John Rankin. Wow, what a crazy island, Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama. Sadly, Dennis Wilson was not around when they recorded that song, the Beach Boys. And sadly, the Grateful Dead lyricist John Perry Barlow has passed away. He was also an internet pioneer. He co-founded Electronic Frontier Foundation, EFF, which promotes freedom of expression in digital media, which is why I can do this awful show. In a blog post on his website, the foundation's executive director said that Barlow had passed away quietly in his sleep. He co-wrote with the Grateful Dead from 1971, which is when that movie I was talking about earlier came out, until the group disbanded in 1994. Some of the tunes he helped pen included, let's see, which one might you know? I don't know any of these. Oh. Okay, he also wrote four songs for their 1989 album. And he was heavily involved in activism for digital freedom. He has been credited with first coining the term cyberspace. It all goes back to him. And Mickey Jones passed away. When did he pass away? He died February 7th. He was on Home Improvement, Justified. He also toured with the band with what was his name? Bob Dylan. Why was that name escaping me? I don't know, because I'm over 20 minutes into the show probably. I met Mickey Jones once. He used to come out to events that we did in Ventura with the country station K-Hay. That's sad. I met him very briefly, but he was a very interesting guy. He was also Thule in one of my favorite episodes of Northern Exposure. There I made a very obscure reference. Syria war, U.S. bombs government forces. The U.S. carried out rare airstrikes on Syrian pro-government forces after what it called an unprovoked attack on allied Kurdish and Arab fighters. And then, yes, I mentioned the parade. He wants a military parade, Trump does. I've heard, this has been such a fascinating topic because I've heard conservatives, half the conservatives I've heard have been for the parade and a lot have been against because they're like, no, you know what? When a leader has a parade like that, it reminds us of the Soviets and the Nazis. But what did Fox say? Fox said something like they should do it because it'll make liberals really mad, which is something, of course, Fox would say because they love liberals so much. But yeah, it's like, you've got your financial hawk people, economic hawks that are like, no, we can't have a parade. That'll cost too much money. Senate leader's budget deal faces opposition in both parties. And finally, that's the end of the shows. We go outside a Café Anyway. We bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. So I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you don't get any calls from the IRS. And that you just, enjoy your Thursday. I finally got to bed last night at around 9 o'clock. I got back from that wonderful James Taylor movie, and Joe wouldn't let me leave until I saw the end of that stupid movie. So thank you, Joe. And then I got home 8:30, but it was like 9 o'clock by the time I got to bed because my roommate, who's now part of a startup, gets home later. He gets at home at 8:45, and of course he's banging around, clunking around, and just making noise. So couldn't get to sleep. So I'm a little bit groggy today, but I hope you enjoyed the show. It was all over the place, as will be the next show probably with Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer. Thank you.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!